With UFC 279 in the rearview mirror, UFC 280 is quickly coming. The world is divided on who will win. Thus far, both competitors appear to have a fighting chance, but it all depends on how the battle concludes. So, who do you think will win? Also, are you planning on watching the fight? No matter who you're rooting for, stick with us as we'll show you how Islam Makhachev plans to finish Charles Oliveira in round 3. Firstly, how long has this fight been coming? Islam Makhachev has revealed his strategy for defeating Charles Oliveira in their UFC lightweight title battle at UFC 280. Fans have been waiting for a long time to watch Islam Makhachev compete for the UFC lightweight championship, and he'll finally have the chance to do so next month in Abu Dhabi. Charles Oliveira isn't officially the champion after failing to make weight in his last fight, but he's commonly regarded as the king of the 155-pound class. The duo will clash in Abu Dhabi, and with fan and pundit predictions varying, it'll be interesting to see what type of matchup we get when they ultimately meet in the center of the octagon. When the two lightweight fighters square off, Islam Makhachev firmly chooses the third round to be where he predicts he will be finished with Charles Oliveira. Unfortunately, former Brazilian champion Oliveira was stripped of the belt due to issues on the scales before his fight with Justin Gaethje at UFC 274 in May for being half a pound overweight. But this isn't the first time Charles has missed weight. He's been overweight several times before this, with one of these being a staggering 9 pounds over. After dispatching the American in the first round in front of his local fans in Phoenix, Oliveira grabbed the opportunity to reclaim the 155-pound title, with just Khabib Nurmagomedov's disciple and rising 22-1 contender Makhachev standing in his way. Up next, what are Makhachev's plans for the fight? The UFC is already cranking up promotion for this fight, and Makhachev made his intentions plain while replying to a preview on social media. Here is precisely what the former Sambo world champion had to say. First round warms up, second round dragged him into deep water, third round, get business done. Inshallah, can't wait for October 22nd. It's reasonable to assume that Islam Makhachev has been looking forward to this moment for quite some time. He's always been seen as the heir apparent to his buddy and training partner Khabib Nurmagomedov, but looking at his resume, it's clear that this will be his most tough fight to date. This is because Charles Oliveira has worked extremely hard to be where he is, and even though the odds might be stacked against him, you can bet Dubronx isn't going down without a fight. Though Oliveira has accused the Makhachev camp of arrogance and warned that it would lead to the fighter's demise, the Sao Paulo state native has also spoken out on how he believes the fight will unfold. You can bet it won't get past the first round, he recently told Brazilian publication Ag Fight. As I already stated, I will always be pushing forward. I have weaponry at my disposal, and you're fully aware of my jiu-jitsu. It is possible to infer that both guys are correct. Neither has made it past the third round in 65 contests, and, according to UFC records, Islam Makhachev has the lowest number of significant strikes absorbed per minute at 0.77. No other fighter with more than 5 fights inside the octagon has a career average of under 1.0. Pete Spratt is second on the list with an average of 1.04 significant strikes absorbed per minute. So, it really could be anyone's fight. Both fighters are coming in on huge win streaks, but only one will be leaving with their win streak intact. Who do we think will win? Keep watching along closely to find out. We're sure you've been wondering, how has Oliveira been doing recently? In the elite 33-8, Oliveira, who is unbeaten in his last 11 outings, put in arguably his most impressive performance against Poirier at UFC 269, where he looked close to being knocked out but held on to deliver a rear naked choke submission at the beginning of the third round. Last time out, however, he also soaked up bombs from Gaethje before pulling off the same signature move on the two-time title challenger and forcing him to tap out. At UFC 280, fans could expect a fascinating showdown on the mat between two experts from hotbeds of their respective disciplines when Brazilian jiu-jitsu genius Oliveira meets Dagestani wrestling maestro Makhachev. Starting with the lightweight champion, Charles Oliveira has 33 victories, 9 KOs, and 21 submissions. Excellent, but Islam is unconcerned about any of this. Charles has 9 losses as well. Remember that Charles is a submission king who has already been submitted. Now that Charles is 156 pounds and 74-inch reach and the previous world lightweight champion thanks to missing weight at UFC 274. But in all of this, Islam doesn't give a damn about the big picture. Charles has an 11-fight victory run, most notably over Justin Gaethje, Dustin Poirier, Michael Chandler, and Tony Ferguson. And looking at what's going on here, well, he's gotten harmed. That's because he has god-tier Brazilian jiu-jitsu. He has the finest Brazilian jiu-jitsu in the history of the sport, no doubt about it. Keep watching along closely. We wouldn't want you to miss out on any of what Dana White had to say about Charles Oliveira. So why is Islam supposedly unfazed? He also has exceptional striking, excellent technique, throws elbows, and these insane leaping front kicks. He is incredible. He has calf kicks and spinning wheel kicks to the body. He also has excellent knees in the clinch. He forces his opponents to battle at a tempo with which they are unfamiliar. Even with all of these qualities that Charles possesses, it is crucial, and this is a significant reason Islam believes he will win the fight in the third round, according to his statement. Here's why. Islam has 22 victories, including 4 KOs, 10 submits, and 8 split decisions. He also has 1 defeat on his record, from Adriano Martins back in UFC 192. Islam has godlike wrestling and grappling abilities. He's from Habib, Dagestan, he's a brilliant kickboxer, and no one ever speaks about it. However, his noteworthy striking rate per minute is 84. Now, the main reason Islam is so excellent is because of his grasping, which we believe has given him courage over Charles. Do you know that Islam has a great time on his 2 legs? He does indeed. He has outstanding timing on his blast doubles, insane trips within the clinch, and can hip toss. And he can do anything to you, and while he doesn't have the most deadly ground and pound, don't get it twisted, he can still end you on the ground. Dominic Cruz took to Instagram to state, "I think that Oliveira has the best chance to finish the fight, so in the first 3 rounds, I think he can finish it. But if it goes the distance, I think Makhachev wins because he has the best chance of winning a decision." Up next, what did Dana White have to say about Charles Oliveira? Dana White, the president of the UFC, was universally complimentary when he mentioned Charles Oliveira during a press conference. When asked if there were complications during the UFC's negotiations with Oliveira, White said, "Charles Oliveira is one of the greatest kids to ever deal with, you know?" White said to reporters at a recent press conference, "He's an absolute warrior and a stud. Getting him to take fights is never hard. There's never a hard negotiation. That kid is always ready to fight. He's one of the best kids we've ever dealt with." On top of that, Joe Rogan decided to talk about the upcoming fight on his podcast, and he had plenty to say about Oliveira's takedown defense. Rogan went on to say that we need to stop counting out Charles Oliveira against Islam Makhachev. A big reason for this, of course, is Charles's ground game. With over 20 submissions in professional fights, he's certainly a force to be reckoned with. Justin Gaethje had a warning for Islam about taking on Oliveira. Justin stated, "I'm 100% confident that Islam will not dominate Charles. I think Charles is going to move forward. Islam is going to try to wrestle, and eventually he might be successful, and if he is, he'll win. But I don't see him tiring Oliveira out even. If he takes him down for the first 2 rounds, I don't see Charles getting submitted, and I don't see him being too exhausted to continue to fight. So perhaps this fight could be settled standing up. Will it go the distance? Comment your thoughts down below." Well, there you have it. Everything you need to know about Islam Makhachev's plan to finish Charles in round 3. What are your thoughts on Islam Makhachev's forecast for his fight with Charles Oliveira? Is this the most exciting bout on the UFC 280 event? And if not, what is? Let us know your thoughts down in the comments. Also, make sure to like the video and subscribe. We wouldn't want you to miss out on any of our upcoming content.